This TSI VW Touran. It's a dual charge. That means supercharge over here and over there. Turbocharge pipe actually, and this is a supercharger pipe there, but there is another pipe inside there. Anyways, it's got a rattle and startup, and while driving we're going to check it out and diagnose the problem. I think this is a 2011, all the same, Golf 6, same like the Golf 6. We just want to hear what kind of noise we're dealing with, and if we have any engine codes. You already hear rattle of the start, and yes, we have an engine light, so that means we gotta do a diagnostic. Engine light staying on, yes, permanently illuminated. Got a bit of a rattle here. We did kind of pre-diagnose it, but you know what, let's try and see what's wrong here. Take it from there. Yeah, sounds like it's running from a timing chain, but you know what, best way to diagnose is to make a start at a certain point and work from there. That's the way you should diagnose. Tourans, all of them. This is 2011, from 2004, whenever they made the Golf 5 shape. For some reason they want to put the diagnostic inside this cubbyhole here. Don't know why. Only on this model. Only on the stupid Tourans. Anyways, plug the diagnostic in, and now we're going to see what is the cause of the engine light. Could be misfire. So this car is pre-booked for general testing. So look, when you have an engine noise and you have misfire complaints and noises and rattles and all these exciting things, you have to do the basics first. There's no running away from basic testing. So before you scratch inside the engine and assuming what you should do first, now you're jumping to the timing chain, then you're saying it's a cylinder, then you're saying it's this, then you're saying it's this, then it's the pistons, then it's a motor. Before assuming all those things, check the faults. So there we can already see that the supercharger clutch pulley is busted, right? That's coming up, you can't get away. So that's the engine code. So now the supercharger is not activated, so there is lag on this car. That is the response we got. It's very laggy, it's not boosting. So I mean, the supercharger kicks in basically from 1000, which is 150 rpms from idle. So it's basically on launch you get that supercharger till about 2000, and from there the turbo takes over and boosts further. So yeah, anyways, did the diagnostic. Like I said, we're also gonna book it in for, we also have it booked in for everything else that goes with a basic engine health test. So how do you check the health of a vehicle? Basic health, it's very simple. You check inside the cylinders what's going on there. That would be a compression test. You check if there's enough oil circulation. Those are your primary things that are important in a car. So you do an oil pressure test, right? So those are your two main important, and then you do a diagnostic test, obviously, right? So those are your main things that you need to do. And on this car we're also going to do a timing check. So we're just going to lock up the timing marks. There's a little bit of stripping. Lock up the timing marks, and after we locked up the timing marks, we will know if the timing chain is out, right? So those are the basic things that will give me an understanding of what is going on in the car, instead of guessing, you know, why is the engine light on, or I think it's this, or this is common on this car. Why do that? Do proper testing so you can give a more accurate diagnosis, right? So here I've gone into the misfire counter. Normally if you give it a rev, you'll see if there's a misfire. Obviously there's a soft limiter, so that's not a misfire you're hearing. Soft limiter is designed for vehicles not over revving, and so you can't do burnouts and stuff, so saving you money there. So now we're going to go on to the next test, which is compression and oil pressure. So we know what's going on in the diagnostic. That's that. two testers here. You've got your oil pressure tester with all the fittings. You have to strip and fit that at the side of the motor. It sits around here. And then we have a compression tester to check inside the engine what's going on. All the cylinders are healthy. So yeah, we'll probably start with compression and then we'll move over to the oil pressure test, and then thereafter we'll also do a timing check with the timing locking tools. So there you have it, timing locking tools. This goes in the crank to lock the crank, this locks the cams. That way we'll know if the timing is up. So let's start with compression, then oil pressure, then time. Lower control on bushes, suspension. No, my car drive fine, my bushes is fine, my car drive like a dream. It's a dream come true. The dream is inside chops there, that's the dream. There's a little bit of meat left, but it's not going to hold. So that's why you must rather check it by TOFA check. Let's check the rest of these things. They look alright. Stop guessing. Just come to TOFA Tech. Let us do a check. Ha 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 ha. Look at rhymes, buster. Worst thing you can do is jump to conclusions. So the first thing, I can tell you a very long story of what happened to me by not taking a belt off first. And I learned the hard way. I took an engine in pieces because I assumed there was something wrong with the engine inside. And all that was wrong is it was something on the belt side which was locking the whole entire engine. So just be careful not to assume. Just do it one point at a time. So here's a ton of pulleys down here. There's one here, this is just an intermediate pulley. Then you've got this one here, which is an alternator pulley. Then you've got this one here, which is a tensioner pulley. Then you've got the compressor pulley. And then you, at the back there somewhere, I don't know if you can see, is the water pump pulley. So there's quite a lot going on here. So now we're going to just give it a start to see if the noise is gone. That way we will know it's on the system and not inside the engine. If the noise is still there, we carry on. It's as simple as that, step by step. We still hear the noise and definitely rattled a lot on startup. There you can see the belt is off. Nothing is spinning besides the crank. There you can see that's the crank pulley. So it can only be inside the motor. So timing chains are on here. We're going to do all the testing and we'll see where we come. So we move this entire contraption here. It like fits in there. This one goes underneath there. All these pipes here, gazillion pipes. That's what new cars do today. They make gazillions of pipes. Get this out of the way. Just put it one side. Leave that pipe on there. It's not necessary to take off. There's a hole here for the breather pipe. Block that off so the screws and things don't fall in there. Have the turbo pipe that we took off here. So block that off so we don't get stuff in there. There you can see the turbo pipe, which we're going to put away in the boot now. And here's the bracket that came off that pipe and the screws. Also took out the dipstick. And that's like a rubber housing for the dipstick, and to get in here we needed to take out this screw here for the engine cover. Just cover that all up. Let's strip and go further. We've stripped them out. There we've got the plugs in order. Coils are marked. Look at these plugs. They're turning a little lean, but not too bad. Got a bit of brown there. You want to see a little bit of brown for a good burn on the cylinders. So I wouldn't say they're too bad. This one, number 4, not great, but it does have the brown color, so that should be. Our compression tester connected. It's a one-man pressure tester, so you can also use this if you have 2 people and somebody can hold it down. We've taken the 16mm size. There's also 21. I think that's 14 and 12. So that's all installed. Now we're going to see if we can see the compression from the side. Let's go inside the car and give it a swing and see if we can see the compression moving from inside the car. Definitely didn't move. Let's go see what we got on cylinder 1. We've got 6 bar. Okay, so we'll see how the rest go. take it from there. The compression test now. All cylinders are under pressure, all running on 6 to 8 bar, which should be a minimum of 10 bar. I'll just double check the specs. So that's out of the way. Next part we're going to do is remove this air filter and maybe the intake pipe, whatever else is in the way here, because we got to get to the oil switch, which is over there. And then we have to also get into these two covers here for the timing chain, timing chain to lock the cams and the crank, so we can see if the camshaft, well, the timing chain timing is in, and then we will know the timing chain is out. That will indicate that the timing chain is slack, which means it's worn. So that's how you do a diagnosis, a VW diagnosis, according to me. Yeah, so let's go ahead and take out this. So as you might see, back to the stripping, the next part would be the oil pressure switch, which is that green thing there. I don't know if you can see it, it's like slightly green. It's over there. Maybe I can point from this side, it will be better. Just below my finger, that would be the oil pressure switch. So much shade today, so it will be difficult, but basically where my finger is here, where you see it wiggly, that's the oil switch. Maybe we can go down here, have a look, see, can we see it? Yep, there, just above the blue rag, that's the oil switch. We're going to remove that so we can do oil pressure test. To get there, we needed to take off coolant pipe that's going to the turbocharger. We needed to take this one that's going down below, connects to the other cooling pipes. I think that is a return pipe. So yeah, now we're going to remove the oil switch over there. There we go. And then we're going to do our oil pressure. This particular vehicle, probably generally all the VWs will have the same size. We've installed the oil pressure switch adapter, which seemed to be number 6 in the kit. Hand tighten so that you know the threads are correct. We obviously match the threads of the switch. Here's the switch removed, you guys didn't see it. Put some focus on there. You've got to match the thickness of the bolt area, and then obviously the thread pitch, which is the distance between each thread, and the coarseness and so on. So once you screw it in, you'll know immediately. It should turn in all the way by hand, and then you should just be able to nip it tight. So don't force it in. It could have been this one, it could have been this one, but don't force it in. Try to gauge visually, take your time, gauge which one seems the most correct, and then hand tighten it so that you don't strip anything. Remember that the cylinder head is aluminium. Sometimes it's some sort of alloy, and those threads are very delicate, so you can be stripped very easily. So now we'll join the oil pressure tester and then we'll do the test. Decided to install the pressure hose like that. It just clips in, and then I decided to put the other side with the gauge facing inside so I can monitor what the oil pressure is on crank and on startup and so on. So I actually forgot, but I have to put all these plugs back before I can do that, so gotta assemble before I can do that. The car needs to be able to idle. The oil pressure gauge on top here, probably won't be able to see it because of the sun rays. See, yeah, it's not going to be easy. Let's have a look. Battery seems flat. For favor, get yourself a lithium jumper pack. They are available, different prices, different types. This one is on 2 bar. Should still start the car. One man, you're alone on the side of the road, forgot your lights on, or the battery is just not charging. You just connect these cables to this and you jump a car alone. Why do you always need to have somebody around? Well, you don't need anybody around, you don't need another car, because sometimes that's also a problem, especially if you're alone at night. You don't want any strangers stopping. Get yourself a jumper pack so that you never have that problem. In a nice carry case, a jumper pack, nice, zip it up, put it away. So we've got this installed. That's as simple as that. Plugs in the side port there. We've got 2 bars, should be enough for this car. Bigger cars will need a full charge, negative, negative, positive and positive. And then on this particular model, it's got a boost button. So you just press the boost button and it should be good to start. Always remember to try and put on the headlights so that it can draw voltage away from the control unit. Otherwise you might get a surge and the ECU can blow. Some cars are very voltage sensitive, so you never know. And now we'll have a look at that oil pressure gauge. Hopefully it will give us some reading. So there we can see oil pressure is up. It's on 1.5 bar. Yeah, and we just want to go up to 2000. And go back to idle, and there we have your oil pressure test.